I would like to wish everyone a happy new year. And I pray that this year brings you much success in everything that you do. Also, blessings, joy, peace, and great health, not just good health, but great health for this year 2021. Welcome to Let's Talk TCI Real Estate Season 2. As always, I encourage you to please like and share this page with anyone who you know would be interested in listening today to hear what we have to discuss on Let's Talk TCI Real Estate. Please like, share this page. Before we get into the topic for today, I would like to notify you all that the show will continue on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. as usual, via Zoom and aired through Facebook Live. However, instead of a weekly show, we will be airing bi-weekly, okay? Also, as I have been doing before, I will always send a reminder on Facebook and via Instagram, just so you know when we are going live. There are a number of interesting topics, interesting guests that we have lined up for this season 2 of Let's Talk TCI Real Estate. However, if there are any topics that you would like to for us to share on this show that you would be interested in hearing about, please send us a message. Please send me a message and I will do my best to provide guidance on the topic and do my best to get a guest on the show to speak on that topic of concern. All right. So again, please like, share this page, and I look forward to going through this year with you, being a part of you, and being in your home on Thursday afternoons at 5:30 p.m. Okay. So it is the beginning of the year, and I felt like it would have been best to start the first show off by actually having speaking to you about a market report so you could know where we are in the market with real estate at this time. I did publish a market report in December when we were closing out for the last season. It's on my Facebook page. However, today's market report will be a little different in that I have pulled out specific things that I wanted to bring to your attention about the real estate market here in the Turks and Caicos Islands, okay? So this report is gonna be a little different compared to the one that was published on my Facebook page in December, right? So just a little disclaimer, this information that I'm gonna speak about today, I did gather this from the Turks and Caicos Real Estate Association database because I am a member of the Turks and Caicos Real Estate Association. There may be additional sales that would have been recorded with the Turks and Caicos government that may have been private sales. Of course, I would not have been privy to those sales, so they will not be reflected in this report. Therefore, I will say this information should only be taken as a guideline because it's just coming from one material source of information. All right? And in the market report today, what I have put together, we will be comparing the total sales overall from within the Turks and Caicos Islands from a period of 2018 to 2020 for all the islands. And then we will speak about the total sales again for the same period of time from 2018 to 2020 for all islands except for Providenciales, because I feel like it's important that we know what is happening within our sister islands as well. And then we will be looking specifically at Providenciales on its own, and we will be comparing houses for the same period of time, 2018 to 2020, and also we will be comparing land for the same period of time, 2018 to 2020. And we will actually be breaking it down into different price range, just to get a feel of what have sold in what particular price range. I believe that this is all important information that you may be interested in knowing. Everyone, there's different things within a market report that may pique your interest, but I was just thinking that this may be something that you would be interested, in understanding and knowing more about. So I'm just going to share my screen. So while I'm sharing my screen again, please take this opportunity to share and like the page. And just in case anyone who you know would be interested, please tag them at this time. All right. I'm hoping that you can see my screen and that, right? So, like I said, this isn't going to be that long, but I think it's very comprehensive and it's going to be right to the point so that you can understand what is happening in terms of real estate sales at this particular point in time in the market, okay? And these stats will actually pull up to today's date for 2020, right? So if we look at our first chart here today, this chart will express, I'm not sure how clear you are seeing it, but I'm gonna use the cursor just to pinpoint one or two things, so please look for the pointer, all right? So the first chart we are looking at today is going to be the sales that represents total sales for all the islands in the Turks and Caicos. And what this is showing here is that in 2018, we sold a unit number total of 341 units, right? And the sales volume was $254,401,045 in sales. In 2019, we had a total volume, a total unit, of 374. And then, of course, the sales volume increased. And then in 2020, we had a unit count of 311 units, right? Now, what is this saying to me? Well, basically, I'm saying the market has shown that since 2018, there was an increase in sale in 2019, and then a decrease in sales in terms of unit numbers in 2020. However, even though the unit number of sales decreased, you will notice that the sales volume in 2020 actually increased. So if I was looking at this chart, I would say that 2020 was still a good year because the volume increased, right? So the other thing I would have gathered from this chart is that because their unit number was less at 311 compared to 2018, and the sales amount increased, I would say that it shows that we sold a lot more high-end homes in this period of time. And it also, for me, it will show that, we still have the investors' confidence in the Turks and Caicos Islands because of this increased volume here when we are looking at the sales. It's always good to have a high confidence when it comes to investors, with your market, especially 2020. It was a gloom and doom for a lot of people, but it also reflects that the Turks and Caicos was holding its own, and we were still, we were still a destination that the investors, received very well, which is really good. So I just want to pull down just a little bit, and where we have the next chart is showing you the stats for all islands except Providence Island. So in this slide here, I've decided to take out just what have been sold within North Caicos, Grand Turk, Ambergris Key, all those islands with the exception of Providence Island, just to give a spotlight on what's happening, in the outer islands. So these numbers are going to be significantly less, but it's going to give you a reflection on how sales are moving along. So in 2018, there were a total of 33 units that were sold total within the outer islands. And of course, we can see where the sales volume and price is 4,245,000. Then in 2019, we saw a significant increase, and we actually sold 45 units at 44,854,500. And then in the year 2020, there were actually 28 units for a total of 8,235,050. So again, this shows the same trend as at the top where we were talking about the total sales. It showed where properties on the islands, the sister islands, I would refer to it as, that after 2018 and 2019, there was a significant increase, and then in 2020, the number came back down. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that, of course, the numbers would have come back down. One of the reasons, again, 2020 was the year of COVID-19, and so we know that persons were reluctant to buy. However, because, again, the sales volume was even greater than in 2028, it still shows you that investor confidence within the outer islands. Now, I also want to pinpoint that the sales volume for 2019 was so much higher than any of the years. And one of the reason for this is because there was a very high sale, which was in the Parakeet area, that accounted for this significant increase. That sale was at a much higher price point than the usual sales that would have taken place. So even if we had taken out that Parakeet sale transaction, when I had calculated it, 2019 was still showing that it was an increase in sales volume and sales unit. So 2019 still had led the market in North Caicos, Middle Caicos, and the sister islands, for example. All right, but overall, I think it is showing good progress to know that persons are more concerned about our sister islands and have decided to invest, which is a good thing, because a lot of times those islands get left out. And we need to, of course, we need to find more reasons to attract persons to those islands, because those islands have great assets, I think, that are not tapped into. And of course, we have mentioned that on a previous show. But this graph is showing that there was an increase in sales volume, which is a real good thing, especially for anyone who have properties on these islands. It shows you that, you know, persons are looking at the islands, and the islands are becoming favorable to investors in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Of course, there are so many other things we can do to attract people to those islands, and I look forward to being a part of that progress as we bring investors. When I say investors, I'm not just talking persons who are not Turks and Caicos Islands out of that, but I'm just talking generally. Anyone who purchased real estate is an investor. So that's where I'm using the term investor, investing and investment from. All right? So that's the graph showing all sales and their volume, and also for all sales except for Providenciales, right? The focus is normally on Provo, so I just needed to just show what was happening with the other islands, okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to point is next, this other graph here, I want to do the homes first. So this graph actually shows the total sales in Providenciales for the period of 2018, 2019, and 2020. It's going to show the units sold as well as the price range and what it's sold for. So let's start with 2018. In 2018, it is showing that we have 11 units that are sold homes in the price range of 0 to 350,000. The price range going up, 351,000 to 500,000, 8 homes sold. At 501,000 to 800,000, 13 homes sold. And then at the price point of 800,000 and up, we had a total of 36 homes sold. All right, so this first chart shows definitely that the majority of homes sold that were 800,000 and up, so in the higher price range. In 2019, we had the same type of chart showing the same thing, where the higher end property of 800,000 and up actually had the highest amount of units sold. And again, in 2020 showed the same thing, where the price range of 800,000 and up had the higher amount of units sold. And also, I just wanted to point here, in 2020, for the price range between 0 and 350,000, only 8 units sold. So why did I bring this chart to your attention? It is always good when we can have persons purchasing at a high end in your country and you have high end product, but at the same time we need a balance. And this isn't showing a balance. It shows that, in my opinion and from my experience, we have at this price point of 0 to 350,000, we do not have many sales that are happening. Why do we not have that many sales are happening? One of the reasons is because we do not have enough affordable homes for persons to buy, right? We do not have enough affordable homes for persons to buy. And I believe that's one of the main reasons why each of these charts is showing where there isn't a significant amount of sales per unit in this price point. I am hoping that we can do something about that, because there are a number of persons who, from time to time, we get inquiries all the time about persons in this price range, but that product is just not available. So if there's anyone out there listening, yes, we are in need of homes in this price point for the majority of persons to be able to afford, okay? Now, I wanted to show you one last graph, and then we're gonna talk some general real estate in terms of this graph. So now we're comparing the total land sales in Providenciales. Remember this, I just pulled up Providenciales because this is where most of the activity is really happening, okay? So total land sales for 2018. So there were a total of 156 units sold. And of those 156 units sold, we'll see now in this price, we have 0 to 350,000, where 124 of that 156 units were sold. So in 2018, 124 units of vacant land sold. Now, if we go down to 2019, we also see where first of all, there were a total of 145 land sales. And of that 145, we had 116 units of it sold at the price range of between 0 and $350,000. And then in 2020, you can see the trend, it continued to follow, where at that price range of 0 to 350,000, it's showing that we had 21 units that have sold, all right? So for the last 3 years, 2018, 2019, and 2020, land in the 0 to 350,000 price point had actually dominated when it came to land sales, right? Also, this chart shows me that the land sales in 2020 was actually, in this price point of 0 to 350,000, was actually higher than in the 2 previous years. Now, what am I saying? What is this chart saying? A few things. While persons were considering if it was a good time to invest because of COVID-19, It shows you that persons were buying, okay? It also shows that we did have a stamp duty reduction initiative twice in 2020. So persons took advantage of that. And by the way, I would like to know, add it in the comment, just let us know how many of you benefited from it, because it's no use we just say no, whichever government is in place, and then we are not benefiting. It's always good to have some feedback just to know how the process was, and if you are able to successfully benefit from the stamp duty reduction. The first one was a reduction, the second one was a waiver. So there were two different ways of reducing the stamp duty during 2020. So if you want, please add in the comments, let us know, did you benefit from this reduction in stamp duty? All right. Also, in my opinion, this graph shows you, because we were talking about the homes before, in this same price point with the homes, you had less persons buying. I feel, in my opinion, that persons who were not able to tap into the market to buy themselves a home at that price point, because that's where their salary was taking them, they were able to now invest in land, right? Because that was the easier way to get into the real estate market, through land ownership. So I think that was one of the reasons as well as to why there were more sales in terms of land in this price point than there were homes, and the land parcels were available. But I must say to you, since even at 2020, 2019, the value of land have increased. And I do believe that the value of land will continue to increase, because we do not have that many land parcels that are available. One of the things persons have begun doing, even because of this, is subdividing, right? It all depends on, your size of your property. Persons have decided to subdivide and sell a portion, even to help them in the purchase of vacant land, all right? So overall, I believe that even though 2020 had brought, COVID-19 came in 2020, I do believe that 2020 for the Turks and Caicos Islands was still a very good year in terms of real estate sales, right? The numbers, like I said, the volume was not as great as 2019, right? But I do believe if COVID-19 had not came, I feel like we would have done much better. But I think we did really good, considering all the impediments that came along with the year, all right? And the fact that it still outshined 2018 when we did not have all of those obstacles. 2020 still came through for the real estate market. And I'm just happy to see even the amount of land sales that happened in that 0 to 350 price range, just where persons are able to find affordable land that they are able to build on, okay? Well, I hope this helped you. Like I said, it was not gonna be long in terms of a presentation, but it was just giving you some of the basic, idea as to what have sold over the past 3 years, and more so to compare and see what happened in 2020 in the real estate market in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And again, for a disclaimer, this information was only gathered from the Turks and Caicos Real Estate Association, and no other private sale was included in this presentation. So if you want a complete, breakdown, then you'll have to get both private and public sales. But we do have a comprehensive database for the Turks and Caicos Real Estate Association, because most of the sales do come through to us first, all right? So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen. But just with you here, all right? If you have any questions about what I spoke about today with the market report, please feel free to send me an email, v.delance@kw.tc. I'm more than happy to share the little presentation that I did today about what's going on in the market. And also, I am more than happy to send the more comprehensive one that I did back in December for you with more details, more breakdown, because it also breaks down, what's the percentage of condos, townhomes that are sold, also had broken down the percentages of beachfront land, other things that you may be interested in. But today I thought it was more fitting just to do some general overview of what is happening with the market. And I will say to those who have invested in the outer islands and who have not invested in the outer island, I think that the outer islands, they are promising, and we should tap into those prices that are reasonably priced in those outer islands at this time. Okay, so if you have any questions, we are about to wrap up. I'm going to leave this opportunity just in case anyone has a question they would like to send to me before we close out about real estate. This is your opportunity. I give you 1 minute to submit that question. All right, it's just an introduction show. Again, just explaining what's going on. We are going to be here on Thursdays as usual, and but we're going to be here on every other Thursday. No, I'm not running on the topics. It's just that sometimes your workload gets a bit much, and we want to make sure that we are able to bring to you the relevant information that you need on Thursdays. So 1 more minute if you have a real estate question. And like I said before, please put your comments in you're always welcome to put comments in the box. Let us know any topics you would like to know about. Also, like I said before, it will be interesting. Let us know about your experience with the stamp duty waiver that had happened last year. Let us know if you were able to benefit from it. Also, just a reminder about the homeowners policy. Let us know if you have also tapped into that, where you can get up to $20,000 off of your stamp duty. Let us know about that and share your experience so that other persons who are watching will be able to know how the process works and what they need to do to be able to tap into that. Let us also know what you would like to see from us real estate agents, and what you would like to see in the real estate community. Real estate is everyone's business, and I would so love for all of you to be a part of what is happening in real estate in the Turks and Caicos Islands, right? Let us know about your concerns with the process, your concerns with the lenders, anything real estate, put it in the comment section so we can address those issues for you, right? So just double checking before I signed off, just to make sure that there are no questions or anything else. Once again, I will say, okay, no questions. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to be in your homes today. Thank you for listening again. And on the 28th of January, which is going to be our next show, Let's Talk TCI Real Estate, we will be having someone come in from the police department to be able to talk to all of us about crime, what's happening on the island. You may want to say, real estate? Yes. Crime is very important when it comes to real estate. Persons want to make sure the investment is secure. Persons want to know what is happening within the country. And I believe because it's the beginning of the year, I thought that, before we go deep, that we should have somebody from the department, the police department, on to discuss those issues, right? We want to make sure that our investment is secure and sound. All right, so until next week, I say to you as always, be blessed and stay safe. Thank you for watching once again. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this show belong solely to Let's Talk TCI Real Estate and not that of Keller Williams TCI
or any of its affiliates. Any action you take upon the information provided on this show is strictly at your own risk, and Let's Talk TCI real estate guest or host will not be liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of the material. I am not an investment advisor, broker, or dealer.